We recently had the honor to represent a young man who is a veteran of our military. And of all things, he was involved in a terrible crash on Veterans Day. And it was actually the Thursday before he was set to start a new job on the following Monday. He was hit head-on by a motorist who we later found out had marijuana in his system. The wreck caused our client to be taken emergently to the hospital, and then from that hospital to a second hospital to undergo immediate surgery to repair a shattered leg. In total, he spent over a week in the hospital recovering from this, from these injuries and having the surgery. When he got out of the hospital, we met with him, and we immediately knew this was a case that wasn't going to be about proving that a person was fault, wasn't going to be about proving that he was injured. It was going to be, how do we find all of the available insurance coverage out there to help him get properly compensated for what he went through. As suspected, unfortunately, there was a limited amount. There wasn't enough to properly and fully compensate him. At that point, lots of questions arise. Number one is, well, if there's not enough insurance, how do we pay for all these bills? If there's not enough insurance, then how, can we sue the person individually that caused this wreck? The second question, you can sue them. In the 20 years that I've been doing this, and all the people who I know who do this, there's never been a situation where money actually comes from an individual. It always comes from the insurance company. We run background checks, we run asset checks, and we did so in this case, and determined there was no money to be had. So what do you do now? The goal of the case shifts. It shifts to, we have this limited amount of insurance money. How do we make it work so everybody can get the medical bills can be paid for, our client can be compensated, so on and so forth. We first try to get as much of the medical bills submitted to health insurance as possible. This case was a little complicated because you're dealing with the VA and deal with TRICARE, but we were still able to successfully get some billing submitted to health insurance. What do we do next? Next, we talk directly with the hospitals. We have relationships with their attorneys, and we just are very frank and honest with them, and we say, there is this limited amount of money available, and out of that, we are prepared to offer you a percentage or a ratio of what we have in exchange for you, the hospital, releasing any and all billings that you have for our clients. And usually the hospitals will go along with that. And so what that does is, it allows us to use the settlement funds to, number one, compensate our client best we can, and number two, to clear out any and all medical bill obligation that they have. Because the last thing we want is for 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road, our client be facing mounting medical bills. So in this case, we felt like we were as successful as we could be with obtaining all possible insurance coverage, and then using that insurance coverage along with health insurance to make sure all of our clients' medical bills and debts were taken care of. And still, we were able to put a really good amount of money in his pocket to help him start his new life at his new job. And so under the circumstances, our client was very happy, and we were pleased with the result that we obtained for him.